Well there, and welcome to another round of Business and Economy, where we bring you all salient issues and information, of course, topical issues trending on Nigerian economy, on the business world, and of course we bring you analysts who also enlighten you on it. And with me, I have Bola Onaniga of Financial Standards, and always welcome on the program.
Thank you.
A pleasure to have you. All right, without wasting much time, we're going to be looking at some economic news. Of course, Buhari to inherit $60 billion debt from Jonathan. That's the statement from Oshibaju. What do you make out of this?
Well, government is continuing. Jonathan also inherited something from the previous government. So it is their responsibility to make sure that they now solve the problem.
He was lamenting that the Nigerian economy, it was unfortunate that the nation had to spend 21% to its 2015 budget on debt servicing, and then 2/3 of the states in the country cannot pay salaries due to dwindled resources. Wow.
I think the dwindling oil prices and the declining oil price has affected our economy a lot, and that is because of the planning of our economic managers. They didn't foresee that oil price will not continue forever to go up. If they had foresaw that, I think they would have done something, because they could not have spent 4 years without fixing a refinery. That's what we're selling our jobs. We're selling our jobs to foreign countries. And we are losing here. Our employment is not growing. We're having more unemployment. So money is being wasted on things that, no refineries. The same thing in Obasanjo, 8 years, no refinery. The 2 years of Yaradua, no refinery. 4 years of Jonathan, no refinery. So what are we talking about? There is no way you won't lose. You won't lose in that hemisphere, because there is no member of OPEC that doesn't have refineries in their country. They don't import refined fuel. It's only Nigeria that does that. And that's very sad for our economy. Yes. And that's why you are seeing all the debts everywhere. And even the governors are to be blamed for their own, for the problem. Because they also did not equip their own internally generated revenue to that level. For them, they were over-relying on money coming from crude oil,
not even thinking
savings.
Of diversifying at all.
They are not thinking of tomorrow. They are thinking of today. Just like the Bible says, give us this day our daily bread. That is what they have been planning for.
Okay, without wasting much time, let's go to more economic news, where Nigeria loses 5 trillion naira annually to oil theft. I've always said this, it should be cut and blocked. Why is this still going on, this oil theft thing?
I think the weakness of Jonathan was the weakness of the nation. If people are stealing, the community knows those who are stealing. It's just that they will not come out because of fear. And they know that if they go to the police, sometimes the police can voice out who came to report, and it becomes a problem. Now that we have a military man and a very disciplined officer for that matter, I think this oil theft will reduce, and we are going to gain a lot from it.
How do they intend to curb that?
He will curb it because he has a military background. He has the knowledge, he has the intelligence, and he has the discipline.
You know, there are some powers that lie on them.
They have done their own work. Part of their homework was what they were doing yesterday and today, trying to gather round pegs in round hole to make sure that they're able to tackle what has to be tackled. But the most important thing is not to rely on oil.
But how will this incoming administration, tend to curb all this oil thefts, pipeline vandalism, this, and it's just too much
Let me tell you, if you want to curb it, you need somebody of that caliber, of that quality to curb it. It can be curbed. It cannot last forever. However, you don't reduce corruption. You don't remove corruption in any society. You only reduce it to the barest minimum. By the time you take 1 or 2 of these oil thefts, oil thieves rather, you will see that people will sit tight and know that this government is not out for morality. They are out to do the job properly. Security will be better under Buhari. I can assure you of that.
You can assure.
Oh yes, it will be better under Buhari.
Okay, well, let's see about that. And then National Pension Commission on Wednesday said it will soon issue new guidelines that will spell out how contributors under the contributory pension scheme could use their funds to access mortgage. Now, will your pension money be able to buy your house?
If we use the system in other parts of the world, it will. You have 25 years in some countries to pay back. And the Lagos State government will take a step as well that is worth emulating. That is, if you are given a house, you just start paying with your salary every month for maybe 10 years maximum. And that is good because you are supposed to take something within your capacity.
Yeah.
If your capacity is for 1 bedroom, you don't have to go for 10 bedrooms. You don't have to go for 3 bedrooms.
But most of them might keep complaining that even the pension money is still not enough to buy the house, that it takes, it's a long-term thing.
You are not going to take your pension money. You cannot take your pension money until you are out of service.
Exactly. But it takes so long. And the long-term thing to buy a house is another problem. And the amount they're selling it to them is another problem.
Oh, it comes with interest. It comes with interest because the government also is not a charity. It's not doing charity business. They're also taking money from the banks. It's loan from the bank. And they have to pay this money with some interest, even though there are considerations on those interest rates. So you have to give it to them that they have started. It can only be better. The incoming administration in Lagos State will also do better. And I think other states, now that APC is in control of the federal system, I think they will also be able to spread it to other states so that they can learn something out of it.
Okay, well, let's just see about that. Annual imports of vehicle parts hit 260 billion naira, and it seems they're importing a lot of parts from abroad, and I don't know what is happening to the automotive policy.
Is it that we are importing a lot of parts from abroad, or that we are exporting a lot of our jobs out? Because if
both ways,
because if some of these companies we are patronizing abroad can come and start an automobile parts here, if only 1 or 2. There will have been changes in the system. They will employ people. And instead of going after the dollars every day to go and buy this thing abroad, you will be paying in naira. But the government has not put in place a structure for that to work. Because the automotive agency has been rendered incapacitated. So they are not able to enforce any law. That's part of the problem that we're having.
So what will this present administration do?
Well, they have to be cerebral. They have seen the problems, they have seen the challenges. So they have to know that they cannot toe the line of the previous government. So they have to enforce certain things. Government is continuum, like I said. It's not that the policy is not there. It's enforcement that is our problem. So they have to enforce certain rules and make sure that order is put in place. And the person who will do it, it's not about the structure now. It's about the leadership of some of these agencies. They are not effective.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the market snapshots where equities market loses 59 billion naira on Wednesday. That's quite on the high side, and the market capitalization shed by 0.50% to settle at 11.79 trillion naira, and 20 stocks appreciated against 35, and Lasako Assurance top gainers. Now, I have a problem with this. Now, before I conclude, the number of deals yesterday was 4,797, and of course the market capitalization went down from 7.79 to 11.73 trillion naira. Haven't lost so much money in such a space of time? I don't know. And what is astronomical about the volume of growth of Lasako is what I do not understand. They topped the traders chart yesterday. That leaves concern. What is going on?
Several things could be going on. One, some people could be shedding their shares rather, so that they can use it for certain immediate needs. That's one option. The second option is that the leadership of Lasako might have attracted some foreign players because the Nigerian economy is now breathing because of the change of banner. People now believe that in the past, prior to the election, our thought was that there will be crisis. So people are moving away their money. Now, the politicians are coming back. The investors are coming back. And they are doing good business. But it could be that some people are working on a takeover park in Lasako. That's also a possible area to look at. You know, there will be, then with what happened yesterday, 2 days ago at the MPC meeting, you understand that they harmonized the public fund and the private sector funds together, then some of them has more money at hand to play with. So I think that also will give them, and then the banks will also give temporary loan to them to buy shares because they know that they can pay back. Then too, some people might be anticipating very good report on dividend, and as a result, they will quickly buy now so that they can make their dividend and return the money back.
No, the volume of growth was really astronomical.
Oh, so.
Anyway, after La Cycle topped the top traders chart, it's followed by Skybank, United Bank for Africa, Access Bank, and First Bank Nigeria Holdings. Yeah, so, well, impressive. Let's take a look at the MPC decision, and we're going to bring you more on this after this segment. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank, it held its meeting for 2 days. That was on the 18th and 19th of this month, and the following decisions were taken. The MPRC, that's the monetary policy rate, was still retained at 13%. Okay, and then there was this harmonization of the cash reserve ratio, which was at 31%. So the public sector and the private sector, which is 75% and 20%, well, there was this composite rate.
They are collapsed together.
Yes, at 31%. What do you make out of this?
It gives the bank opportunity to be able to breathe again. In the past, they were not able to breathe since they put it at 75%. And you know, the greatest player within the economy of Nigeria still remains the government.
Yeah.
And because of that, they now have to give them breathing space so that they can give loans, because they realize that they have not been able to give loan to manufacturers and other players within the economy. So by bringing it to 31%, it's a very good policy. Though the CBN will shed some money out as well, but I know that the CBN has a way of collecting the money back through mop up regularly and also. So I think it is good. But
analysts are saying that it's a little bit tactical, you know.
And then there is another thing. There's another thing there is that banks will have more money to turn around cheap, because they'll be able to buy the dollar again and make the naira and weaken the naira further if they are not properly monitored. Because if they are monitored, they will not be able to do it. But if they are not monitored, because there's a weak monitoring level in our system, not just in CBN, in every part of our life, very indisciplined approach to system. So there's a systemic collapse in every department of our activities. All the enforcement agencies, they are not able, maybe because of the manpower requirements, because those in the private sector are smart people. And so those in the public sector are seen as...
What's the impact of this monetary policy rates on, on the banks?
The banks will have more money to play around with, because where they are paying 75% for CRR, okay, let me tell you, public funds account for about 70% of the money in the banks, or about 75 or above. Now, since they now move it back to 31%, like the public distance, one, there is no way the public fund will not come. It must come when it has to come every month. So it will be there. Now that they have done it at par, it means both the public fund will now help the banks to be able to give loans out.
Well, that's what people want, to give loans, but at what interest rate again? That's another thing.
Well, the CBI will have to consider the margin. The margin used to be plus 3% or so, but I think they will not do it, because they will tell you they'll go to CBN and collect the money. That's what they are going to tell you.
All right, let's wrap this part of the segment up. We'll come back with another segment. We're going to be talking about the MPR. And of course, I told you it's still retained at 13%. That's going to be the topic we're going to be looking at. Join us again.